What's the word, y'all? Welcome back to another playoff recap, man. I'm here and I'm excited to be here. I must admit, though, confession time, the best game of the day, which was Pelicans versus Suns, I missed the entire second half of it. I watched the first half, saw Devin Booker drop at 31, a masterclass of just bucket getting. You know what I'm saying? Kids should be watching it and try to mimic their game of that. And then I had to go upstairs to do fatherly duties, and by the time I came back down, there was only 4 minutes left of the fourth quarter, and it was a close game, and they're showing close-ups of Devin Booker on the bench saying will not return. So I still ain't even seen the play where he hurt his hamstring, or I don't really know what the Pelicans did to take that lead, but I do look at the box score and see Brandon Ingram had a lot to do with it. I can tell you that, but I can tell you that much when I was watching the second half that Brandon Ingram had a lot to do with it. Oh, actually, like I said, I watched the last couple minutes, so I did see Brandon Ingram get a couple big buckets. So my apologies to the Pelicans fans, man. I can't really talk to your success today, but I got to say that I'm hoping the Devin Booker hamstring injury is nothing that's going to hold him out. 1 game, 2 games, the entire series, the entire playoffs. I am praying for nothing but good health for every single team and every single player. I can't speak for everybody, though, because I went onto Twitter, right? And I asked Twitter, like, what happened? Because, again, I missed the second half. I didn't know what happened. What happened? And people were showing me screenshots of people on Twitter. And you know what? There's always going to be bad eggs. This doesn't account for the entirety of the Pelicans fan base or even a fan base across all the other 29 teams not named the Suns. And it was a tweet for, I think it was Woj or Shams, and they were saying Devin Booker will not return. And the replies under there is W. So happy. Season end to injury soon. And just a bunch of bull. We're better than that on this channel. So I don't know. I'm preaching to people that won't do something like that. But yeah, we gotta be better, bro. You're wishing injuries on real people, dog? Over basketball? You want to see somebody get injured over this little orange ball? We gotta be better. But I will go back and watch that because I'm very curious to see what adjustments were made, or how much the Devin Booker injury impacted at least a decent amount, but the Pelicans still had to capitalize on that, so I got to go see how they did it. So my apologies, Pelicans fans. But I will talk about the Memphis win to tie up the series, and I will talk about Miami's dominance. And I know it ended up in a 10-point game, but I'm considering it dominance because it was dominance for most of the way. But before we do that, let me talk to you about our sponsor, which is Prize Picks. Hit that link in the description and download the Prize Picks app and use code Kenny because they're matching all deposits up to $100. I've been slacking, y'all. Prize Picks have been a presenting sponsor for the entirety of the season, and I didn't tell you about it right before the season. We have thousands of people that have already used code Kenny, so you do not want to miss out on the fun. All you need to do is pick between 2 to 5 of your favorite or least favorite players, and you decide if you want to go over or under on any individual NBA statistic. Maybe you're expecting that Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving, and Jaylen Brown all have really good games. You can go over on all of them, and then you have a couple different payout options. Flex play means that one person in your lineup cannot hit what you want them to hit, and you can still get in the green. Or power play means that, hey, all 4 of my things hit, and that is a 10x payout. It's a 10x payout. Like I said, there's already thousands of people that have used code Kenny, so do not miss out on the fun. We only got a limited amount of basketball left, man. So go ahead, play Prize Picks, use code Kenny so they can match your deposit up to $100. All right, let's talk about Miami's dominance because that's what I am calling it. The Atlanta Hawks, they didn't stand a chance. They did have a little point with like 8 minutes left in the game when they went on a little run to make it a little bit interesting. And I was like, no way Miami's about to fumble this, but they did not because this guy named Jimmy G Butler really came to play. He had like 7 straight points to ice the game, including a steal. A game where he ended up with 45 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Like I said, clutch steal and 0 turnovers. 0 turnovers. In a post-game interview, they were asking him about, man, why today did you decide that you wanted to drive 45? And he said, Coach Chris Quinn, I think that's who it is. Chris Quinn was like, go take all the shots you want, and then he did that. It's career high in the playoffs, which I don't know why I thought that in that playoff run in the bubble that he had like a 50-point game, but I don't think he had a 50. I think he had like a 38, 10, and 10 or something crazy like that. And that's how you get the picture of him leaning over dead tired. Big win for them. Going up 2-0, going back to Atlanta. The thing is, Atlanta's really good at home, so I don't know how much is that going to translate in the playoffs, especially because they have done a damn good job on Trae Young through the first 2 games of the series. Today, Trae Young shot 50% from the field, so that's not too bad, but he shot 2 for 10 from 3. But the thing I'm really worried about is that 10 turnover mark. And, well, a lot of those turnovers were forced, and a lot were unforced. But I want to show you some of these turnovers because the Miami Heat make simple passes or passes that you make 82 games of the regular season, basically impossible passes because they don't stop playing on the defensive side of the ball. Also, in this game, Duncan Robinson played 6 minutes. Yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, he had one of the greatest shooting 3-pointers made in a playoff game. In this game, it was like, you know what? We're going to ride with Gabe Vincent. It's crazy how they get people to lock in or and just accept whatever role they're given. Like Victor Oladipo is no longer in the rotation, and they were talking about that. But then they were saying that, hey, it can happen any day. And as they were saying that, Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin came off the bench. So Spo has a very good rotation, but he switches it up to keep you on your heels. And Duncan, they might have game planned heavily for Duncan. Bro gave him 8 threes 2 nights ago, and now he don't even get no PT. But this was a Jimmy game. But let me show you some of these turnovers. Yesterday, I showed some footage, and the NBA didn't say nothing. So I'm going to start just showing footage until they strike me down. This is one early in the game, 15-15 first quarter. It's nothing too crazy here, but just showing the fact that this Miami Heat team does not quit on even the simplest of passes, which is a sideline at a bounds pass, and it goes for a bucket for Max Strus. And just little things like that can go a very, very, very long way when it comes to getting the crowd involved, getting your teammates involved, and just having everybody buy in on the defensive side of the ball. This one's just all around great defense from the Miami Heat. You see Trae Young getting a little pin down action. I'm not very good with terminology of these plays, so excuse me if I misspeak a little bit. But he's coming off a screen right here, a double screen actually from, I think that might be Herter or maybe Bogdanovich. Is blurry. I can't really see. But here he is coming up, right? They switch on this little handoff here, and now it's Max Strus. And Max Strus does a hell of a job standing in front of one of the shiftiest / best bucket getters in the entire NBA. And look at PJ Tucker shows. And Trae Young's like, oh, snap, I got Gallinari in the corner. He got his slick back hair. He got his hands up. Let me get him that pass. PJ gets back enough to deflect the pass, and that's a turnover. And almost any other situation, Trae Young is able to make this pass multiple ways, but PJ Tucker, being a great defender that he is, basically eliminates the drive to the basket, and he eliminated the extra pass. Crazy great defense from PJ. Some of them were just lazy. Bring the ball up the court, little slip. They play harder than that. You're not going to throw a pass up there and not expect them to at least contest it. And I think this was the biggest one of the day. As you can see, the Atlanta Hawks went on a nice little run. They got it within single digits. It's 5 minutes left, and Bogdanovich hasn't missed a shot in like a quarter, bro. He was on fire in the fourth quarter. This is the play that ends up happening, right? We got Gabe Vincent up top on Trae Young. They running some action for a backdoor cut for John Collins. Low-key, it might have been there, but then again, he was being trailed by Bam, so maybe it wasn't. Try to give the pass to Bogdanovich. That's Gabe Vincent. That's Jimmy Butler for getting his hand in the cookie jar. And this is part of Jimmy Butler's 7 points to clear this game. And it's just a bad turnover at a terrible part of the game. And just like that, I mean, they put it up by 9, and then it went back to double digits, and the game was over. So again, a lot of love for them. And having Jimmy Butler have a game like this probably puts a lot of people on notice. Of course, you don't expect him to be dropping 45 points a night, but if it is just Chris Quinn telling him to go get buckets and he can just do that, now some of the offensive struggles, if you want to call them that, for the Miami Heat kind of go away if we can get Jimmy Butler to just be aggressive. And we've seen Jimmy Butler, whether it be in the bubble run or some of the other runs in his career when he's with the Bulls, be a guy that's hella aggressive and can draw fouls when he needed to. And today he drew 12 free throws. So shout out to Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. Got to go into Atlanta and at least steal one of these things, for sure. Next one, the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Grizzlies. A lot of people are upset that this game was not on national TV because in game number 1, it was such a high energy. We have Ja Morant. We got Anthony Edwards, Carl-Anthony. We just got a lot of fun, super fun, enjoyable players to watch. We got some trash talkers. We got everything. And in game number 1, the Minnesota Timberwolves surprised the world and pulls off this upset in Memphis. And then Ja Morant goes to Twitter. You know, he's not throwing no shots, obviously. Ja Morant's not a guy that's going to throw shots, but he's like holding himself accountable. He's tweeting the Michael Jordan meme where he got the baseball bat and a cigar in his mouth where he's saying, a real man talk trash when he up and not, real man talk trash when the score is even and not when he's up, or something like that. You know the Michael Jordan quote from The Last Dance. Fire quote, fire moment in The Last Dance. He tweeted that, and he tweeted a lot of different stuff throughout the last couple days, and I'm like, bro, y'all better do y'all thing because all of these tweets gonna come back to bite you. It didn't come back to bite them because they did what they needed to do. And there was a couple different things that I think was the reasons why we got to this point. First of all, they tipped off with Steven Adams, and they figured out very, very early on, Steven Adams ain't the guy. We talked about that after game number 1. Now, I told y'all that Steven Adams shouldn't be getting PT in this series specifically. As good of a player Steven Adams is, and a great teammate, because the guy that took his minutes today, Steven Adams, showed him so much love in a post-game interview because Steven Adams is just a team player and just a guy, a great guy. But we found out very early that this is not a good series for him. He got in foul trouble very early on. And who came off the bench? Xavier Tillman. This boy, Xavier Tillman, has the most, what is the word I'm looking for? He's just resilient. He's just resilient, y'all. I have a very vivid memory of the I guess it can't be that vivid because I can't even remember the game. It was the game against the Warriors in the play-in for the 8th seed. If you remember last year, the 8th seed Memphis Grizzlies Warriors game. This man, Xavier Tillman, did not play many minutes leading up into that game. But in the game, win or go home game, Xavier Tillman came in and, I don't know, maybe he had double-digit points. I don't remember the exact stat line, but I remember him playing a huge impact in a game that was must-win. And bro ain't really been in the rotation for some time. And in this game, I would consider this a must-win. You don't want to go down 0-2 while you were the home team. A must-win game. Bro came out. Oh, okay, Steven out of the rotation. I'll give you 20 great minutes. And he did that. 4 offensive rebounds from him. He was all over the place. Shout out to him. Ja Morant did his thing. He was as posed as can be, whether it was his playmaking, whether it was his shot creation. He had a step-back 3. He got to the basket at will. But the thing that was more surprising to me, he locked in defensively. And if Ja Morant's locking in defensively, there's a lot of players in the league that just purely based off their athleticism, I know can be a very good defender. Ja Morant's one of those dudes. I know he has a thin frame, so that kind of hurts him guarding anybody outside of like other point guards. But because of his quickness, his quick hands, his quick feet, he could be a plus defender. And he just doesn't show that on a night in, night out basis. Today he did that, so it's very, very great. But on the other side, Minnesota just was not ready. Listen, Karl-Anthony Towns played 27 minutes. He had 15 points, but man, this was just another bad game for him. And I know fouls are going to be a thing. Karl-Anthony Towns is one of the most foul-prone players in the NBA. But, bro, it's not the fact that you get fouls, Carl. It's how you get them. Or Karl-Anthony, sorry. It's Karl-Anthony is his first name. It's how you get those fouls. You know what I'm saying? It just, I'm going to show you. He had 5 fouls today. Remember that. He was in foul trouble. And because of that, he couldn't get a groove. The team couldn't get a groove. I would need D'Angelo Russell in a game like this. Basically, like we saw in the game when he fouled out of in the play-in. If Karl-Anthony Towns going to be in foul trouble, we need D'Angelo Russell to step things up. And he did that in the play-in. Today, he didn't do that. And then we even got Anthony Edwards, his worst game in the last whatever. Anyway, I'm going to show you some of the plays where this man fouled. And boy, you like, bruh, this is the reason why we had to sit you, because you couldn't think to yourself, don't do this. This is the first play of the game, actually. Little pick from Steven Adams here, a little double pick. Why'd you stick your leg out right there? This is what I mean. It's the first one of the game, so it's not that big of a deal, but then it turns into a big deal because now you got to play the rest of this quarter with a little on your shoulder, and you didn't do that because you picked up the second foul. Why did you just put your foot out there like that? What defense is this in this game? He did injure Ja Morant, but luckily for everybody in the world, Ja Morant came back and he was okay. And it was something similar to this where it was actually he was on the offensive side of the ball and he put his leg out there for a screen. And now people on Twitter were debating the efficacy, if that's the word, of this said screen. And in this play, he did something very similar. I don't think Cat is a dirty player. He's trying to injure Ja Morant, so their chances of winning the series goes up. I just think bro be doing stuff and not really thinking about what he's doing and thinking about the consequences. And in this case, the consequences that you have to sit on your butt while your team needs you to play in a playoff game. But this is the one that really blew my mind. Close game still. You're only down by 8 in the first half. That's very winnable still. D'Angelo Russell's going to give up the ball to Karl-Anthony Towns. First of all, he wasn't even expecting this pass. He was looking at somebody in the crowd. I don't know what he was looking at, but you could tell that he wasn't expecting. Look at the little jump he get. He gets it to the shooting motion pretty easily, pretty early. He's one of the greatest three-point shooters in the league and one of the, if not the best three-point shooting center of all time, right? That's enough space. That's enough space to shoot a normal jump shot. What does Karl-Anthony Towns do? He shoots it and sticks his leg out. Why did you just do that? Why did you just do that? That's what I mean. And then he argues it. That's not a normal shooting motion. We've seen you shoot a million jump shots this season. You do not be sticking your leg out like that. That's a good call. Those were 2 bonehead fouls, and when you have 5 of them, and I think that was his 3rd in the first half. So it's not smart. It's not smart, Carl. We got to be better. And now I'm getting notifications about Chris Paul and Scott Foster because now Chris Paul has lost 12 straight playoff games where Scott Foster has been the official. God, he's been officiating it. Is that suspicious to you? You let me know. I don't really know. Again, I'm not a guy that really talks about officiating. But that is a crazy either something going on, and that's one of the wildest coincidences of all time. I think that's it. I gotta go watch that end of that Pelicans game because I gotta watch the Brandon Ingram masterclass. Let me look at this box score one more time. Brandon Ingram with 37. My God, B.I. And he had only 13 points. I'm sorry, he had 11 points at halftime. I gotta go watch them Brandon Ingram's possessions. At the bare minimum, I need Brandon Ingram's possessions ASAP. Hey, man, let me know what you think about these games today. I'll be back tomorrow. We got a good slate. The Bulls are on TNT. Actually, y'all, there's a tweet that I saw that was saying that Bulls Bucks game from last week or a couple days ago was like one of the most watched nationally televised basketball games in years. Bulls basketball in the playoffs, that's all I'm saying. It's good for basketball. That's all I'm saying, baby. Whether we get swept or winning the series, it's good for basketball.